see. Okay. Have you ever spent an ungodly amount of time, not on what is a rabbit hole, but like trying to, well, he said what's most important, the poem, the book, or the website? Like if you could only have one, which would it be? And he says the poem. Like, what the deuce? That makes no logical sense, because the bloody poem is in the bloody book. And for that matter, the poem is on the website. The poem's the third, obviously, yes, sure, the poem leads you to the treasure, but if you can only have one, it would go book, website, poem. Because the first two have the poem in it. It's just a quick little rant. That's not even what I'm going to talk about. But anyway, the last 2 weeks, I'm going to say, get off work at 5, home 5:30, midnight. I'd say I spent 6 hours a night for the last 2 weeks, which I'm sure lots of people spend an ungodly amount of time on this, so I'm sure I'm not unique there. But I did it on one project, and one project only, and I was convinced that once I did it, I was going to, I was going to find it. It was going to be just so clear and obvious. But, so what I did is, I don't think I will. No. Okay, so what I did is I took the book and I did two things. Well, I did one thing for a long time, and then I did a second time as like a confirmation step. But anyway, I created like 12 different Word documents, and I named each one of them like a different type of language style, I guess, or punctuation or whatever it is. Anyway, I recorded all the M dashes, so I went through all the book, and anytime an M dash was used, I pulled or wrote out in Word. But first I pulled up the ebook, and then I was reading on the ebook and going through things, and once I finished manually trying to go through it, I then went back through the chapter via search. So if I wrote down, like, let's just say I wrote down 9 Mile Hole, and I found that there were 4 references to 9 Mile Hole. Well, then I would put 9 Mile Hole times 4 on the sheet, so I'm just aware of just how many times it was said, and I'm putting in the full sentence for anything. So like I have one for quotes. I'm talking gibberish. I am going to start over. So sorry. Not fully started. Word documents. Each Word document is a different style. So I have M dashes, one for the entire thing, the entire sentence. One of them for everything that comes on the left side, one of them for everything that comes on the right side, and then one for everything that comes in the middle. And then I have one that has just the names, how many times or what names are mentioned in each chapter, and then how many times are they named. And then I did the same thing for places, so how many times is a place named and what places are named. And then I pulled all the quotes, so is there, anytime there was a quote, I pulled the entire thing. And then sometimes there were like M dashes within quotes. I recorded both of them just so I had a full reference of everything. And then I pulled all the proper names. So Indiana Jones, proper name. I only listed them as people if they were people associated to Justin and his story. If they were like Houdini, like that's, I just put that in as a proper name, and like as recorded as capitalized and all that. And then M dash quotes. I think that might be. I feel like I missed them out. Well, anytime there was italics, I did. Those are short lists though. Anytime I did bold, anytime he put things in like a numerical order, which is only really one chapter. I did any type of different punctuation, minus, periods, commas, question marks, hyphens, like not normal stuff, but anything that is semi-unique. I just tried to pull it out by itself, and then do that for every single chapter, and then write it all out on one master file. So I did all of these things at one time, and I just went through it, and anytime essentially anything was capitalized, or I saw an M dash, or I saw a quote, I would type it in somewhere, and then I went through that, and then I got the paper book, and I checked my work, and so then I went through the same chapter, and I essentially did it again, because, well, I did it again kind of next to what it was, so I put little notches just to confirm that by I got to the end of it, the notch matched what I had as my original answer. I figured that would do two things. One, it would reveal any words that maybe got dropped between the two or changed or whatnot, but then also able to go through everything. And then once I had the master list, then I broke them out into individual tabs, and then I verified everything, and then I obviously, whether I found hints or clues or whatnot, I also made mistakes. So my checking of the work would find things, and then I would go back through on the ebook, and I would just try to debunk the bunk, or see if something was real. And then I got it all kind of outlined by story, and then I was just looking for how I could pull it all together, which, it's a lot of data. I have a sickening amount of spreadsheets and files, but it helps me just to write things out, and I feel like I can see patterns better than I can even think about what I should do. But then things play with my mind of things that he's why did he pull back on whether it's free or not? That threw me for a loop in the Q&A. He's that's focused on the wrong question, or I don't know exactly what he said, but people are too focused on whether or not something is free. What was he gonna say? I mean, when you say it's free as of that time, and then you do a date thing, I think that confuses people naturally. Why is it of an exact date, and is it still free? And the desire to answer the question seems to have shifted, and the clarity of any answers that are given seems to have shifted, which maybe it hasn't. Maybe I'm just making that up in my head, but I mean, there's a few things in there that I feel like he's adjusted. Previously, I mean, he said that sure, if you happened to just pick the right area and you just grid searched, and you might happen to locate it, but in all practicability, the book offers critical perspective. The book also offers the poem, and yet it's not the most vital resource, which suggests that it adds no additional value, because if two things are equal and one other thing has a bonus aspect to it, and you're still saying that it's a tie, and not only a tie, the poem wins. How does the poem win? I don't know. So I put all that together. I spent 2 weeks doing it, however many hours that is. So I had all of these things that I could scan through and try to find codes. But it's just an overwhelming amount of data, and nothing really stood out to me. But maybe that'll change. And I think the one thing that it did help with, though, is it's very clear that some chapters have a lot less stuff in them. And I would imagine that those things are potentially confessions, because that would make the most sense, because confessions would have the least amount of details. Memoirs should be heavy with names, places, memories potentially, and then treasure maps are obviously, you got to find the hidden codes. So that's why I did it.